Crystal Palace against Chelsea, 3-2. Chelsea looked like they were cruising at some stage. In the end, though, it was pretty much the width of a post that saved them. It looked like Palace had got a late equaliser in this one, Craig. For the neutral, it was great to watch.
Well, not for half an hour it wasn't, or thereabouts, because it was one-way traffic. Chelsea sort of dominated. Palace couldn't get the ball. The goals that Chelsea scored were excellent, particularly the Pulisic goal. But I have to say, and we love a bit of goalkeeper bashing on this show, and I'll hold my hands up and say, listen, how the hell do you make yourself smaller as a 6'4" goalkeeper? And as good as the strike was from Zaha, that was the only thing that got Palace back in the game, because Chelsea were in cruise control. But once again, when Lampard looks at the video, he's going to see a goalkeeper who I don't think he fancies. I think he'd like to sell, but probably can't because of the price Chelsea paid for him, who's potentially cost him some points again, because, that was there to be saved. And for some reason, he was able to make himself smaller. And in the end, Palace got on the front foot in the second half, and sort of Chelsea were hanging on in the end. Lampard said it himself. Wasn't a great performance, but they got the 3 points.
With the opening Palace goal, it's straight in the middle of the goal, Frank. Goalkeeper's got to save it.
Yeah, that's the main problem we see with Kepa, who is capable of fantastic save, and suddenly you wonder, why you don't get the ball. What happened to you? What happened to your skill? And it's like somehow he loses the vision of the ball and doesn't get the ball. As Craig said, that it's it's not understandable, what he just did on that goal.
Don?
No, I said it in commentary, and Craig's right. Chelsea were cruising at 2-0, and then when you expect Kepa to make a save, I mean, what's bizarre about it is in commentary, when Zaha took the strike on the first angle, I thought I flew into the stanchion, into sort of one of the top corners. And then you see it. I mean, Kepa's 6'4". If he puts his hands up in the air, he turns himself into 7 foot. He can jump 9 foot. So how on earth did he get smaller? And it went underneath his own crossbar. So I can't remember too many times this season that Kepa's either pulled off a save, which has give Chelsea a point, or pulled off an amazing save, which has give them all 3. And I bet he's worrying, Frank, because he doesn't fill the goal neither, Dan. When he stands there in front of the goal, when crosses are coming in, when free kicks and corners come in the box, he looks quite thin. He looks like a David de Gea when he first come to the Premier League, and he then beefed up and got himself a bit stronger. But Kepa at the moment, he is probably giving Chelsea fans a little bit of anxiety, and probably Jody Morris and Frank as well. And they might be thinking, will they go in the transfer market and sign a goalkeeper in the summer?
It reminded me, Dan, of a goal that my old mate Kevin Hitchcock at Chelsea once let in against Wimbledon from about 30 yards. And it somehow went kind of in the middle of the goal, but quite low, but it did swerve. Now, Ruud Gullit couldn't get his head around it. So Sunday or Monday morning, we put the video on in front of all the lads, and he kept rewinding it at that moment, saying, this is incredible, how does this happen? Rewind it. And in the end, I thought Hitchy was going to knock him out because he was embarrassed. But, that's one of those moments where Lampard will look at it and think, what if that was the last game? What if we needed that point to get in the Champions League? That's the difference between being under pressure for your job or not. And as Don and the lads said, it's happening too often. And, the likelihood of him getting him out and getting the money back is slim. So then he's got some decisions to make. He's got a huge FA Cup game coming up as well. I think it's against Manchester United, the semi-final. Already some people are saying, well, did you put Willie Caballero in? So we're having these discussions again.
Not only, though, Kepa, that defence looks vulnerable. Don, give us your boring stat.
My boring stat is, Crystal Palace, Brighton and Newcastle have all scored more than Chelsea. What I would say is I thought Chelsea
conceded. You can't even tell the stat properly, Don.
I'm not a stat man. I'm not a stat man, Dan. Stats, I don't do stats.
Oh, you ruined it.
Well, he was practicing it before he came on. He was going, Newcastle, Brighton, Newcastle, Brighton.
Oh, dear. Don, by the way, did you commentate this game? I don't know if you mentioned it. You did.
I did, Dan. What I would say in commentary is Chelsea were absolutely brilliant going forward. I thought Reece James at right back had a great game. Christian Pulisic is just getting more confident. Willian, anyone would think that Willian's playing for a contract because he's been on fire lately. And I thought it took till Jorginho actually come off the bench, because the worry was Chelsea weren't really controlling the midfield. and they were giving a few loose balls away, and they were giving up a little bit of territory. And then when Jorginho came on, he just settled everyone down. He played the game at his own pace. He didn't really give the ball away, but it was a brilliant end to the game because Palace were pushing to try and get a 3-3.
What do you do with Willian, Craig? Like, obviously his contract ends at the end of the season, but he's been starting, 2 assists today. He seems to have an impact in every match.
Well, Chelsea had a policy, and I don't think they still have it, but anybody over 30 got 1 year. Now, they've sort of scrapped that and said, well, we'll give you 2. The player himself wants 3. Now, that's a stretch. I think it's taken him to 34. However, when you look at what he's doing, when you look at his fitness record off the top of my head is pretty good in terms of when he's available. They're clearly not going to get a sell on in 3 years' time. So you're going to get 3 good years, or at least a couple of good years, and then maybe in and around the squad in the 3rd year. I think Chelsea, I think they probably should buckle, but it's a game of bluff now, and their concern might be as if we loosen the strings on this one with Willian, what do we say for the next 31-year-old who wants a 3-year deal? So it is a difficult scenario, particularly when the player is playing as well as he is. So if it was me, I'd give him a 3-year, but I really don't know what Chelsea are going to do.
In the lead up to the opening goal, which he provided the assist for, of course, we saw Cahill pull up with an injury. Willian played on. The right thing to do, Frank?
No, I think if Willian didn't see the action, I think at least Giroud saw it and saw Cahill falling on the pitch, and he should have stopped the action. It reminds me of a fantastic, let's say, move from Paolo Di Canio at the time that there was a game, Everton against West Ham, I think it was 1-1, and suddenly Gerrard, the goalkeeper, went out and got injured. The West Ham player crossed the ball, and Di Canio caught the ball with his hand and stopped the action. I had a standing ovation, and I think he was named the most fair play players, of the year. That was a fantastic action because he stopped, and he could have scored. I think Giroud should have stopped and the action and to see if Cahill was capable of going back to the game. But I know. A goal, it's important. I know Chelsea is looking for spots in the Champions League, but I think it has to be fair. And when you see a player getting injured like that in a crucial part of the field, you should be able to stop it and to show a little bit of fair play. That's my point of view.
Let's get that man a drink.
I can understand that people don't agree with that.
Get that man, Frank, crack open a Beaujolais, crack open a Chateauneuf de Pape and drink it out of straw. Do it. I mean, come on, nobody's sentimental claptrap here.
I'm not being sentimental, I'm being fair play. Football is a game.
Listen,
I understand there is lots of money. So you don't agree, you didn't like what Di Canio did? You didn't like what Di Canio did?
Listen, let me tell you one thing. It was a goalkeeper that was injured. That's slightly different. What I'll tell you about what had happened here is players will just start falling to the ground, right? And people will just pull up and say, oh, but sorry, I had to stop because he was injured. If it's not a serious head injury or a particularly serious injury, which is not a muscle injury, is an occupational hazard, you can't stop because we'll have players falling all over the place, dropping like flies, and then people will be saying, well, he should have stopped. At the end of the day, right, Gary Cahill was backed up, had to put a sprint on, the hamstring went. If I'm running through the middle of the park and somebody's hamstring goes when they're chasing me, which is bloody unlikely, by the way, as you two know, then I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop. So no, I'm sorry, mate. Unless it's a head knock, we're just ploughing on.
Don?
I agree with Craig. I mean, there's no way in a million years when you're chasing the top 4 spot or you're an elite athlete, you are not stopping for someone tearing a hamstring. Not in a million years. I wouldn't even be bothered with a fair play award. I'd want to try and win the league or finish top 4 or win a cup final or whatever. I'm with Craig. If Frank goes down, me and Craig are just going straight past him.
Just a word on...
and by the way, I love you guys. I'm trampling over the top of him when I go past him as well, just for good measure.
Just a word on the goal from Pulisic. Obviously, looked great, Craig, since he's come back. His weaker left foot, not much of a backlit. It's a great goal.
Yeah. Don't mention shy, I'm going. Right, I'm telling you now. I'm dropping the camera, swiping up this link.
He's not shy. He's not shy. He's not shy anymore.
Listen, let's be quite honest about it. And we always try and be honest here. So if he's not played well or a player's not played well, we'll say it. Doesn't matter about nationality. Forget about that, right? Leave that to others. Leave that, cheerleading to others. Christian Pulisic at the moment, right, is one of the first names on the team sheet for Chelsea, right? That's fantastic for him, for his confidence. And Lampard said it himself. I'll refrain from calling him Frank, Dan. I'll leave that to Don.
Yep.
Lampard said it himself. It's not just about his play and his change of pace, but it's the end product. And the more he adds that kind of end product, it's just going to be impossible to leave him out of the team. And he's going to have to do that. And I've said it, because Chelsea have a squad and they have other players coming in who can play in the wide positions, like Ziyech, like Werner, like Hudson-Odoi. Mount can play that. So he's going to have to play well. But he's one of the first in the team sheet at the moment. And there's a lot to be said about that.
Boys, do you know when you realise how good of a goal it was, Joel Ward was defending against him and he faced him up 1v1 and Joel Ward was thinking, well, I can't let him cut inside on his right foot because he'll bend it in the bottom corner. So he then sort of offered him a little bit of room on the left-hand side and his touches were so quick and so sharp, Pulisic was gone past him in a flash.
Did Frank tell you that?
No, I commentated on the game.
Thank you very much, guys. ESPN FC back tomorrow. Lots of Premier League games going on, including Sheffield United against Wolves, City against Newcastle, plus it's Brighton against Liverpool.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.